Hey guys, you're watching Dansky, the place to be to develop your creative skills, and in this tutorial, we're going to learn how to create a double exposure cinemagraph, all in Photoshop. Hey guys, welcome back. So yes, we're creating a double exposure cinemagraph in Photoshop today. This is an awesome effect, and you're going to need two things. You're going to need a still image and a piece of video. You can find video from all sorts of third-party sites online. You can grab images from anywhere, stock sites, from Google if you'd like to practice with this. But yeah, photo, video, open them up in Photoshop, and I'm going to jump to the screen now and show you how to create this awesome effect. Okay, so we're in Photoshop and you can see I've got an image of a subject, and I'm going to be cutting out the subject onto a background, adding some video to create this double exposure cinemagraph. Really cool. Here's an example, and you can see all the layers on the right if you're interested, and it looks something like this. And what I'm going to show you now is how this looks when it's moving. So yeah, pretty cool. And we can just jump back to the main tutorial document now. I'm going to quickly cut out the subject. If you'd like to learn a bunch of different ways to cut out a subject from a background, there's my Photoshop playlist. It's linked in the description. A bunch of other tutorials there. I'm going to do this really quickly here using Select and Mask. So first of all, let's just grab the quick selection tool. And if you just left click and hold on the magic wand tool, you'll find it under there. Not in the video description. Sorry, that was a bit confusing. Okay, so quick selection, let's just left click on the background, make a really quick selection. And then we'll go to select, inverse, flip that selection around. And then from the bottom of the layers panel, we're just going to click on the layer mask icon. And the subject is now on a transparent background. And actually I'm going to click the adjustment icon next to it and just add a solid color, just so we don't have that whole transparency grid thing going on. It just makes it a lot easier to see what our cutout looks like. So we'll go with a light gray, maybe just drag this underneath, and we'll lock that solid color layer. And then just double click on the layer name for our subject, and we'll name this appropriately. Subject seems fitting to me. And I'm going to select the layer mask. And if I zoom in, you can see there's parts around her hair that haven't been cut out particularly well. The quick selection tool can only do so much. So we're just going to spend a few seconds refining that quickly. And with the mask selected, go up to select, down to select and mask. If you're on an older version of Photoshop, then this will be called refine edges. This window pops up, and we're just going to grab the refine edge brush tool and just click on the background to sample it and just drag along the edge. So click and drag, and it will just remove the background. And it does a pretty good job of this if your subject is on a fairly plain colored background. If your background's a bit more complicated, then you'll need maybe a few different other methods to cut out the subject. But you can see here, we've got some of that background still left. Click on the background, drag, and it does a pretty good job actually of cutting that background out, really quickly and easily. And I just pressed the hotkey then, and everything's gone red now. I don't even know what button I pressed, but it's fine. We'll just click OK. Good, the red is gone. Okay, subject is cut out. Fantastic. So the next thing we're going to do is grab some video. So if I switch over here, video I downloaded from the internet, and we'll right click, and no option to open in Photoshop, but that's fine. What we can do is go to File, Open, or just drag it to the icon if you are on a Mac. And you can open up your video in Photoshop. And when you open up video, the timeline panel appears at the bottom usually, but if it doesn't for any reason, just go to Window, down to Timeline, and you can scrub through your video, and you can see it looks lovely. It's a mountain, we've got some clouds and stuff. It looks pretty cool. We're going to combine that with our image, and it's just going to look awesome. So what we're going to do is right click on this video layer, go to duplicate, and just select the document as our tutorial document. Click OK, and it will add this in here as some video. And you can tell it's still video because it has that video symbol next to the thumbnail here. So what I'm going to do is right click this and convert this to a smart object. And if I just zoom back out, you can see this video is especially large. Now, the reason I converted it to a smart object is because if I want to move the video, resize it, rotate it, do anything with it, you have to convert it to a smart object first. So if you try and edit it without converting it, it'll just say to you, hey, you need to convert it. Do you want to do that? So just click yes or okay. So it's all fine. If you double click on the thumbnail of the smart object, it takes you back into the original video file. So it's still there, all saved within the smart object. And I can actually double click on the text for this layer and we'll just call it mountains video. And then I can go up to edit, down to free transform. And you can see it's especially large, so we could maybe shrink this down. We want it to cover the entire canvas, so this looks pretty good, and we can double click or press return to set that transformation. And what we can do is we can now play the video from the timeline panel, or the shortcut for that is just spacebar. And because our document is quite large, you can see it can't quite play it back at the correct speed. But when you do go and export all of this, it will just export it. It might take a while, but then it will like play smoothly, really, really nicely. So we can move this around with the playhead and the timeline, so la 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 la. That looks great. What we're gonna do now is right click on Mountains Video, that's our video layer, and select Create Clipping Mask. And you'll see we have an arrow appear here in the layers panel. The layer underneath is underlined, so that indicates that this video layer that we've created as a clipping mask is now only going to be clipped to the layer below it. So if we were to go and like maybe adjust this mask, you can see that the video will expand, or it will be removed from areas on the mask. So it's essentially clipped to the layer below, which is fine, because what we can do now is add a layer mask to the video layer, grab the brush tool, select one of Photoshop's soft round pressure opacity brushes. It's one of the default ones. Hardness of 0, so a nice soft edge. Make sure black is your foreground color. That's all the way in the bottom left. And what we're going to do is just brush away part of the face here. Now, depending on the details that you want to remove or add back in, it's entirely dependent on the image and the video that you've got and how you're combining them. You might not actually have a subject that is like a human. It could be like an object or a toy or something, or it could be anything. So I'm just gonna keep some of the mountain detail around the neck, maybe bring the ear back in, maybe do something like this, so you just get a little bit of hair coming through. I'm obviously doing this very quickly, but you can of course take a lot longer. We'll bring some mountains into the chin. So there we go, maybe something like this. Now, of course, this feels a little bit disconnected because the face has like the very warm skin tones and we have the cold mountains, so let's do something about the face. So what we're going to do is select the subject layer, and from the bottom of the layers panel, click that adjustment icon again, and we're going to go hue and saturation. And then what we're going to do is, well, this panel is giant, so first of all, let's collapse that. And from master at the top, we'll just select reds, and we'll just desaturate the reds from her face. And you can see that's quite a lot of the color. You might have a bit of yellow in there as well, so you could maybe select the yellows and then desaturate that as well. Or you could just leave it set to master and just adjust the saturation of the entire image. Or you could even check colorize, and we could go for a blue, something like this. So you can see we're we're very much changing the color of the skin tone, and I could even drop the opacity of that hue and saturation a little bit. So it's not too cold, so maybe 70%. So you can see it's quite different there. It depends how you want to blend your subject or your object in your scene with your video file. So yeah, get super creative. But now we've done that, we've added the video in. We're gonna just layer up a few more effects. So let's go to the adjustment icon again. And I think we'll do some curves. So I'm just gonna click on this line and pull it down a little bit. It's just gonna make the darker areas a bit darker, and then click on this part of the line and bring it up. So it's just gonna add a bit of contrast. So if I turn this off and back on, you can see the difference. A little bit more dramatic. And we'll do another adjustment layer. We'll go with color balance this time. So for the mid-tones, I'm gonna just add a touch more yellow. And for the highlights, maybe a little bit more cyan. And just a tiny bit of yellow. Could even leave yellow alone. Not gonna play around with that too much. You can spend ages playing around with that. All these adjustment layers, all still fully editable. So at the moment, we still have our gray background, which is not very creative. So let's right click on our video layer and we're just going to duplicate this. And I'm going to drag this underneath the subject. And you can see that becomes the background. This is still a video though. So if we start playing it, we're going to have two lots of video. So if we just drag this layer mask to the trash icon at the bottom, and then we'll right click on the smart object and rasterize it. This is going to essentially like remove any editability. Is that a word? Editability? The ability to edit anything within this smart object. It's now a flat layer, which also means it's not a video anymore. So this is great because if I hit play now, you can see it does that and the subject disappears. So that if anything strange happens like this, just expand your timeline up and we can see our subject layer there, for whatever reason, is very, very short. So we're just going to expand this and maybe zoom out of this. So essentially you can see if I play this through, it's all great and my subject only goes so far and then that layer disappears. So if you want all of your layers to appear throughout the entire thing, just drag them to the end. In fact, you can actually drag this line here and control the total length. So we could set the length of our Cinemagraph to 8 seconds and that would be the final length. And we could even go and like bring all of these in and they snap to place. It's entirely up to you. So there we go. I'm just going to shrink this back down now. Okay. So we've got our video, it's rasterized. So let's try and play that again. Now we've extended the subject out. And you can see the background is still, but the video file inside the subject is actually playing. So that's cool. So what I'm actually going to do now is right click on the background image that is still called video rather confusingly. So I'm going to call this background just so I don't get muddled up. Right click and convert this to a smart object. And it renames it to layer 0. So I'm just going to persistently call it background again. You will be called background. And now this is a smart object. I can go up to filter, down to blur, select Gaussian blur, and I can apply smart filters. So I could give this like a blur of, let's say, 7 and press return. Just so that the focus is on the subject and the background is nice and blurred out. But because it's a smart filter on a smart object, I just double click that, boom, I can go and edit that blur at any point. If I apply this filter effect to just a normal rasterized layer, it's permanent. So this just gives you a bit more flexibility by creating it or converting it to a smart object. So there we go. So we can scrub through the video now. And we can see the video plays. We've kept some of the detail of the subject's face there. And then we've got a completely separate background that's nicely blurred. Now, this example here is fine, but I've done this very quickly. So if I just switch over to the example, you can see with a bit of time, a bit of love, a bit of care, really kind of fine tuning all of those adjustment masks and layers and just working on that mask a little bit more, you can get something that looks like this. And actually, one other thing I've noticed is that because we did actually cut the subject out, we can select the subject. If I just select these layers, holding Shift and go to Edit, Free Transform, we can actually move the subject and put them in the center of the image as well. So when you've done all that and you've finished your Cinemagraph, you've spent ages just making it look super awesome, what you're going to want to do is go to File, down to Export, and you can select Render Video, and you can export this as a video file, a .mp4 for example. And you can specify lots of settings here. You can have a preset, lots of presets, high quality. These are the sizes of my document here, frame rate, all this good stuff, you know, the file name, the location. absolutely everything, and then click render. It might take a little while, but it exports that as a video. You can go another route and export this as a GIF as well. A GIF, however you pronounce it. If you want to export it as a GIF or a GIF, then I would definitely encourage you to make the file size of this a lot smaller, because giant GIFs like this are massive in file size. They take ages to export. And if I go to image canvas size, you can see here I'm working on quite a large document. So you could do something like maybe 800 pixels wide, 600 pixels high, like a dribble shot size. So you could do it with this if you wanted. But to do that, you go to File and down to Export, Save for Web, Legacy. And we'll just see how long this screen takes to pop up. It might take a minute. Wow, okay, so that took probably about a minute. As I say, make a copy of your file if you're working on like a really large document, make a copy of that file, shrink it down to a size, maybe 800 by 600, something a lot smaller, and then have like a second version if you want to export it as a GIF, or you can just export it as video, and I think that'll be much quicker. Depends on the power of your computer. So what you can do then is click GIF from the drop-down menu. Just pick your colors at 256 if you have like a full color photo, just to retain maximum color. You can of course go and adjust the size down there at the bottom. You can choose if it loops and plays over and over, or if it just plays once. There's a bunch of different settings up here. We don't need any transparency checked, and selective color with diffusion usually gives a pretty good result. And you can sometimes bump the lossy up to 10 or 15%, which takes a slight hit in quality but reduces the file size. I'm not going to change any of these settings, because every time I try and change the setting, it will like reload it. So this tutorial will become unnecessarily long. So I'm going to click cancel for now, but that's how you do it anyway. Okay, so there we go. That's how to create a double exposure Cinemagraph effect, all in Photoshop. So as I say, spend a lot longer on it, refining that mask, fine-tuning those adjustment layers. I did this super quick, but you saw in the example, if you spend a bit longer, a bit more time, give it a bit more love, you can get super creative and you get a much more polished end result. But as always, if you've got any questions, please do drop them down below, and like this video if you enjoyed it. Take care, and I'll see you next time.